Hey, welcome to Trash Talk, where we talk all about trash. We're your hosts, Ashley,
Maya,
Jackie,
and Ryan.
In this edition, we'll be talking about how our trash, yes, your trash, affects third world countries around the world.
Sounds kind of a sad topic.
Well, anyways, let's get started. All of us looked into different subjects within the topic. So, Jackie,
I'm up. As you know, North America produces immense amounts of garbage. We Canadians have a huge impact on the total result. The Conference Board of Canada studied 17 developed nations on their environmental efficiency and concluded that only 2 countries, the USA and Australia, produce more garbage than we do. But how's the trash we are producing affecting the living conditions of third world countries around the world? Well, I discovered that our recycling actually has quite a large negative impact. Here in Canada, we have an organized, governmentally funded method to recycle items. But did you know that according to Canada's Plastics Industry Association, they say that 14% of our plastic is purchased by corporations. These plastics are then shipped to developing countries where they are used by factories to burn for power and heat. In consequence, our plastics greatly increase the air pollution of the factories' surrounding areas. Another key example is in June 2013, when 50 unclaimed shipping containers arrived in Manila, the Philippines. They were said to have items to be recycled in the city, but when officials cracked open the crates, they found plastic mixed with tons of garbage. This recycling was never claimed. My second point is the growing problem of electronic waste. Around 100,000 tons of e-waste is recycled in Canada. However, lots of it is illegally shipped to developing countries. According to India's Toxic Links organization, the e-waste is sent to informal facilities in developing countries where underpaid workers have to burn the electronics to extract certain valuable metals. These workers, including children and pregnant women, are exposed to toxins for hours on end. These facilities also create massive environmental pollution. Because of these illegal shipments, the amount of e-waste in these developing countries continues to grow. In India, only 1% is collected for formal recycling.
And adding to that, me and Bea will be talking about how our trash not only affects their living conditions, but the environmental impact it has as well. In Canada, majority of our waste gets picked up every Wednesday morning and gets taken to garbage dumps and recycling factories. We have a pretty good disposal system, but the same cannot be said for third world countries. Their governments most often do not fund a proper way of getting rid of waste. Instead, citizens are forced to leave them all over their country, creating extremely unsafe places for them to live. There are large garbage patches all over the world as a result of this, such as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, also called a trash vortex, the size of Texas. The world produces 3.5 million tons of garbage each year, 10 times the amount a century ago, at least according to World Bank researchers. If nothing is done about this tremendous issue, it may grow to 11 million tons a day by 2100. All over the world, different countries contribute to this mass. In America, people throw out their body weight worth of trash every month, but in Japan, they only throw out 2/3 as much. It is very difficult to find reliable sources to compare places from all over the world. But one thing is for sure. New York is the city that throws out the most waste. Citizens living in the Big Apple throw away about 33 million tons a year on average as of 2015. According to the World Economic Forum, by the year 2050, we'll have enough plastic in our oceans to outweigh the fish.
Currently, most of our garbage ends up in either dumpsters or in the ocean. These methods of disposal are problematic as they often end up polluting the environment. The garbage that piles up in open air dumps can cause heavy air pollution, as the gases and chemicals contained in the waste can evaporate. These chemicals can also leak out to the surrounding ecosystems, causing harm to the living organisms around it. At garbage disposal sites, the trash is often incinerated. Incineration can also cause air pollution as it can release toxic substances into the air as the trash burns away.
Even though places around the world are now recognizing the impact of our garbage and the importance of recycling, most of our population does not do anything. Majority of our stores still use plastic bags. We'd rather use disposable water bottles rather than reusable ones. Even though we know everything that is happening today in our world, we don't do anything about it. We have the power to do something too. In third world countries, they have no choice but to throw out their trash in dumpsters. The unfortunate people have to live in these alleys, covering their faces with masks to protect themselves from the putrid smells. People with no money to buy items like clothing pawn through these dumpsters, hoping to find something that might be of use and isn't too badly wrapped. Over the years, our society has done very little to improve this situation. Several small projects have been launched, but in order to make a big impact, we as a society must work together to fix this.
Alright, you guys, so since we're deprived,
Almost starving.
college students, please enjoy this brief advertisement that we need to give us enough food for the week.
What pops to life when you stomp around all day and night?
It's Stoppies!
Super cute animated slippers that magically pop, pop, pop into action. Just walk, stomp, or run for endless pop-up fun. Stoppies are slippers with personality. All your favorite characters just became even more fun.
Stoppies! 1, 2, 3, 4, we're gonna stomp some more! Stoppies! Stoppies!
Slip them on for super fun action adventures. They're positively playful. They're so soft and comfy. Stomp after stomp and chomp after chomp. You can go to Stompies.com to order your choice for $19.99 plus $6.99 processing and handling. And look, you can get adult sizes for mom, dad, and grandparents too. You can find more pump and play fun on our website with our flippies, hats, and umbrellas.
Jump around fun for everyone! Stoppies!
Must be 18 years or older to order.
Alright, we're back. So, another thing I tried to look into was if this negative ecological impact on third world countries affects their political relationships with Canada. It was hard to find solid evidence, as most governments like to keep these relations private. And according to my research, within political relationships between these governments and official leaders, not necessarily. Shipments of trash must get permission from the receiving country, but many of these are done illegally, and therefore governments are not technically responsible. However, between less formal opinions within citizens and governments of developing countries, their respect for us has reduced. For example, I previously mentioned how Canada dumped 50 crates of unclaimed recycling in Manila, and more than 20,000 Filipinos have signed a petition for our country to take back our trash. Filipino media has captured citizens saying that they will see Canada in a different light after this event. I also found something quite interesting about how this trash problem affects our relations with other developed countries. In 1995, the Basel Convention proposed an act to ban wealthy countries from dumping any toxic waste in developing countries. Canada is one of the only 4 countries blocking this amendment. However, an Environment Canada member says this is because it would impact the legal trade of recyclable items to developing countries that would be recycled in an environmentally sound manner. Some solutions to this growing problem of trash are that main electrical corporations could improve their recycling processes and eliminate the toxic chemicals in their products. And illegal shipments of waste normally slip through because of corruption within border officials in the receiving countries, but also because of lack of enforcement by Environment Canada. Canada must place stricter guidelines on this subject, or, if needed, invest more money into Environment Canada.
So, hey Ryan, you haven't really said much, have you?
Well, I actually do have quite a few points I would like to mention. So, first off, all of those previous points that were mentioned are very good and very much true. But we do have to take into account, what are we going to do with all this trash? We found ways to reduce how much we're making in general, but what are we going to do about the trash that we already have? Well, there's 2 main ways to find a solution for this. Firstly, we could look to the government for laws and regulations that will prevent the buildup of waste in an illegal manner damaging the environment. This is one of the most popular solutions to the problem, as it's very simple and almost always has a direct impact towards the environment in general. But I believe there's a second way that's much more efficient and we should be focusing on. Developing brand new technologies that can prevent and use the waste that we currently have for good. This won't be as straightforward as just putting in a law to reduce the amount of waste that's being thrown away, but it's a much more efficient long-term solution than anything we could do with just laws. But the truth is, either can't exist without the other. So we have to make sure we balance both of them, and we have the best tactics to reduce our amount of waste. Now, there's another question about these technologies. They all seem good most of the time, but they can have a hidden caveat that will cause a lot of waste. And we can see this in a lot of the past innovations of the past, such as the freight train. It helped deliver so much stuff around the country. It helped to push technology forward through time. But what they didn't realize was they were also hurting the environment hugely. Their steam engines that powered the huge locomotives were creating soot and smog that filled the environment up. And this caused a lot of problems. Now, this goes back to a point that we have to keep in mind. We have to remember the damages that our technologies that we develop these days have on the environment. A modern day example that's similar to that freight train is nuclear energy. Nuclear energy helped cut down so much of the pollution and damage to the environment caused by coal and natural gas power. But it also introduced another harm into the environment, nuclear waste. This also causes damage on a huge scale every single day. But you also have to compare it with the benefits that came from that nuclear power. So overall, we have to find a way to balance out the innovations with their damage in the environment. And I think the best way for that is to create laws that regulate new achievements and innovations in the scientific community so we don't destroy ourselves.
Wow. That was really informative, Ryan. Well, looks like we're out of time. I hope that you guys learned a lot about how our garbage in first world countries is affecting the living conditions, environment, and other solutions we can have to solve this problem. So, till next week on Trash Talk!